Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Factorio. This is my game world. This is one that I've been cooking up for a while now, so it's already very much in progress. I've had a couple games going, but I'm still a pretty new player to Factorio. I'm still a beginner. Um, there's a lot I still don't understand, but I'm trying to get some of the basics more and more as I play. So this is going to kind of be, I guess, like a log or an episodic version of my journey as I play this game. And if you guys want to come along for the ride and, see what I'm cooking up, I want to share it with you all. So, yeah, without further ado, I guess I'll kind of show you around. You comfortable with like my current setup, which is very uncomfortable. There's a lot going on, especially for someone who is maybe new to Factorio or hasn't really played before. This is also, I guess, going to be a bit of an introduction, but I'm also jumping in deep into the pool since I've already got like a couple hundred hours into this already between this game and some other games with my friends. Yeah, so I guess let's give the short form tour, and I'll kind of jump into what I'm currently working on, my current goals for this game. So, here you can see I've already got a bit of a rail line going. Stretches all the way to Big Gus's ore yard, which is one of my satellite bases that's refining iron. Yeah, it's pretty lengthy. Covers quite a bit of square footage. Proud of that fact, but it also comes with some consequences. One thing you'll notice is there's a lot of red on the perimeter. I did tweak the settings on this game because I got a little overconfident when I started playing with a buddy of mine and our game was going super easy and I wasn't seeing any bugs. I was like, well, this is too easy. I want to change that. I want to make this a little bit more gruesome. I like games like Fallout that got that survivalist aspect to them. So as a result, I tweaked those settings to essentially make them... Oh, here's some coming out to attack my base. But yeah, essentially make them a little bit more aggressive, increase the like reproduction rate or what have you. I don't know the actual set names off the top of my mind. It's been a long time, days since I've actually started this game and tweaked them. But maybe at some point, if those are interested, I'll go back and review those so you guys get an idea. But yeah, I just wanted to make them super hostile, especially to any pollution that I give off, which is noted by, of course, this red cloud. I've got quite a bit going on, and you can see it's touching a lot of these bases on the perimeter. So as you just saw, like they'll try to test it once in a while. But I've got a pretty good, and I guess this is a good segue and kind of intro to my defense system currently. I've got a couple of these like automated turret setups. You'll primarily see something like this where it's pulling from a looping belt of advanced ammo. Pulls that ammo into a chest. Probably not the best solution, but it just gives them a little bit of a fallback in case each of the individual turrets run out, because they can only hold 10. This gives them an additional capacity of 100 in case, like, say this belt is low and they need to pull from like a storage solution. That's what this serves, and it just essentially evenly distributes between the two as best as it can as needs increase. Well, if something's getting attacked over here, I'll jump to it. Oh yeah, I should probably go handle this. This is a work in progress upgrade to my defense system for one of my bases. Suck my copper. Yeah, I need to handle that. So we will handle this somehow. Actually, maybe there's even a way I can deal with this now. I think let's see. Maybe I can do something like this. I don't have, yeah. There's a reason I'm doing it this way. I might even need to get down and dirty and come help, because I don't know if this has any of these substations available for me to place. I thought I did, but I don't. So I'm going to have to deal with that. Yeah, why don't we go take a trip and deal with this problem. By the way, I'm dealing with a lot of that at the moment between all of my bases, and I'm currently working on a solution that will help mitigate this going forwards. But right now, it's a real pain in the ass. You know, I've got like 3 or 4 of these satellite bases, which I'm sure you'll see throughout my playthrough, and I'll introduce some more as time goes on. But they each serve a different purpose. They each extract a different resource. And so what I'm hoping to get out of this is upgrade my defense network so that they can be a little bit more autonomous. Okay. So like you can see here, I actually destroyed that substation, but fortunately, I had an extra one in this network, so my bots just replaced it for me because I made a stupid mistake. So they're awesome. Love my bots. Really cool. Great workforce. Always going above and beyond. Alright, so yeah, so this is the outskirts of Theoactive and what I call like WAN 3. That's like literally like a WAN in real life, like wireless area network, whatever, wide area network, because it covers a very large area of one grouping of bots. Yeah, I'm gonna place down some of these guys myself. You can see some of my bots are doing this too because I have an excess. But yeah, I want to make sure that these turrets are powered and maybe even put a couple down just so if I do get attacked here again, I'm not completely helpless. But I am working on something to make this a little bit more automated so I don't actually have to come down and do this because, you know, I have other shit going on, as you'll find out as I delve a little deeper. But yeah, there goes my turrets, there goes my walls. They just kind of pull it from my inventory and place it. These are, of course, blueprints for whatever I want to place. I can actually place those myself. I'm sure if you're experienced, you know that, but, you know, showing it. I can grab a whole bunch and do, like, copy, paste, cut and paste. You know, cut and paste is like remove and place. I just remove that, moved it over, cut it, move it back. You know, pretty useful stuff, especially when you're working in a, like on a mega base or like a very large project and have a lot of repeat tasks. I can just like cut and paste a whole section, make it easier. But yeah, I don't like that stuff at all. Sometimes I make little defects like this when I'm trying to move quickly. So I can also use the delete tool, which I can never remember the keybind for this one. It's a little weird. Alt-D. Yes, Alt-D. Destroy. Boom. Move. And then the bots just put it in my inventory. If I'm not around, the local area or wide area network bots will come out and grab those and store them instead. Assuming they have storage, which is a whole other thing. So like, for those in there know, when bots need to store something, they usually put it in these logistics, like storage chests. It's the yellow chests. So they know to always put excess items or items that are removed in network back into these chests. Here is WAN 3. And I guess to give a little bit more info on what I'm talking about with like the WANs, I think I could probably do something like this. So each of these sections of contiguous or continuous red indicates a WAN, or what I call a WAN, essentially. It's the same concept of a WAN in real life, right? Like a wide area network. So imagine that each of these bots are like nodes in a network. So in this case, Factorio calls them roboports, but roboports are essentially like routers or switches in modern day real life networking. And so what you can do is you can actually connect them together as long as the red square of their border is in close enough proximity. So I guess as an example, visually illustrate this. If I was to copy one of these, like I was just showing, you'll see that it has like a red square around it, followed by a green square. So the red square needs to connect to another red square in order for them to hook up. So you can see that as I bring this square closer, like it's touching that upper right square, so there's a dotted line there, which means these nodes are connected. But if I bring it, see how there's green at the north end, top end, and I close that gap, now it's connected to the northern one. So essentially I have to do these in series, and when they're all connected up like that, essentially get WAN. Versus a LAN, which is just like one or two of these or whatever. So this is like my main WAN, because this is my main base. This is like this very long section here. There's a shit ton of stuff going on. And this goes all the way to like my copper mine, or my coal mine over here. And then you can see I start a new section because these two red squares are not connected. And the question might be like, well, why did I do that? And the reason is I found out the hard way that bots, if you connect all of these up, they'll actually take the shortest path to get from point A to point B. So I was having bots that were getting, all my resources from my main base, my outputs, so like, like belts and inserters and like all of the, component-based, like non-primitive items. It would take these and essentially try to go through all these bugs here, all these red dots, and they would just get obliterated by the bugs. So like a next best solution is to separate these out so that can't happen. So like now I've isolated into multiple WANs, but I still want to supply these bases as best as I can, but prevent my bots from getting axed. So now instead of having one super WAN, I have like 3 or 4 main WANs. So this is WAN 1, this is WAN 2, this like V formation, this weird, I guess like northwest to southeast is WAN 3, because this is like a contiguous line, can't really stray too much except for like right here, but that's my territory, so it doesn't matter. Here's like WAN 4, which I actually still need to set up, hence all the gears. This is where like you would load and unload. Then finally there's a WAN over here, which is just for the iron. I mean, ideally I want to like connect that up somehow or figure out a good solution, but I don't think these should probably be connected. I do, however, and this is actually one of my goals in this session or the next session, which is so I call this the iron corridor because it's a corridor that connects my other bases to my iron supply. I'm actually going to be enhancing that with a secondary iron supply that's much bigger. It's at 4 or 5 times bigger. Yeah, like I've got 4.1 million here, but there's 24 million here, iron. So, 5x this. And yeah, that's the supply, but there's also a ton of bugs, and I'm going to have to call them and deal with that problem. So that's more of a long-term plan, because iron is one of the prime resources in this game. Like everything uses iron for like pretty much almost anything you can think of, and I'm kind of dealing with a bit of an iron shortage just in terms of throughput. Like you can see, like got all this iron ore coming in. That's great. In fact, I could probably. It's not being illustrated super well right now because you can see there's a ton of iron ore in the belt. But if I turn on this ammo line for my defense, which basically powers like, this giant loop of advanced ammo, because just regular ammo goes on a belt. Up here, it gets turned to advanced ammo, and then it circulates itself. By doing that, this is a huge iron suck because it's just continuously pulling iron, making ammo, pulling iron, making ammo. And this is a huge area. This entire outer perimeter line literally only spans my main base, but that's still huge. Like this whole thing is like crazy big. Like, it's supplying all these turrets, basically around the entire perimeter of my base. And you can see I started to section it off a little bit because I realized that having one contiguous wall pattern is less ideal. That was like my first attempt. And then I tried to make it a little bit more distributed so that they could cover each other, but they didn't have to be right next to each other. You can see like these circles are intertwined. Yeah, I went way off the beaten path, and I actually have to do stuff. I don't know. I just like talking about my game because I put a lot of work into this. It's pretty cool. Oh yeah, there's a geranium power. I just set that up the other day to basically double my power output. So this output's like 40 megawatts. You can see on the bottom right there. Consumes nuclear fuel. Constant consumption 40 megawatts. So I think my total, if I like click on a power line, it's actually like 107 now. And that's probably because I connected up like some of my satellites that pull in like solar panels and whatnot. Before it was like just like 40. And you can see right now, like that's kind of my demand. Satisfaction is like your demand. So like to supply everything in my network, it's like roughly 41 to 42 megawatts. So I only had just enough for my peak, but now I've actually more than doubled it between adding the nuclear reactor, which is an additional 40. So this is pretty much, this is like the big chunkiest right now by power output is this guy when I threw it on. But, you know, I had to do all this shit initially when I was starting the game. So like based on coal power, you have a boiler powers steam engines, and you just have like an array of boilers and steam engines pulling coal off and pumping the steam through. Yeah, I'm getting way off track. Okay. Yeah, whatever. This is definitely informal if you haven't figured it out already. I'm just gonna kind of do what I want to do, and you guys can step through if it's even interesting. Where was I? Let's get out of the map mode, so now I'm back to my person. Yeah, so I guess like what are my goals right now? So I had started setting up, the WANs are important. That's kind of the crux of one of my big goals at the moment. So I've gotten some infrastructure for my WANs. My main base is pretty well supplied. You know, it's got its bot networks, and it can just pull everything from source because I've got started feeding every output item into a logistics like passive provider chest, which will basically just tell the bots like, okay, anything in here can be fed into the network. So as long as there are bots connected to these provider chests, like it's in the red area that you can see, like that red box when I hover over, the bots can pull from that. And if they're, say, an engineering bot, they will know, like, okay, like, you need, let's go to turrets. That might make more sense. Like, I gotta find it. This place is a mess. So I'm making just standard turrets here. Okay, here's a provider chest. So that lets the bots know, like, okay, if a turret breaks, or if big man upstairs says we need a turret here, you know, blue icon or whatever, right? Like this, but a turret. What that means is they'll know, like, okay, I have turrets available because there's turrets in this box. So I'm passively providing these turrets, so the bots will go in, grab a turret, and go place it wherever it's needed, as long as the bots are connected in network. So that's really fucking cool. So like if I was to say, like, go over here, grab this turret, this might actually be a sick demonstration, but it's also going to be way off topic. I think they'll actually, yeah, the green is engineering bots, I want to say, so they should still be able to, see how this is a green outline as opposed to red. They should still know to be able to place it here, but the passive providers need to be in red for it to be provided to the network. So important distinction there that might come up. Could be wrong about that, but I think I'm correct. So this might actually take a bit because all my bots were there. But oh, look, there he is. My little guy. He's taken the turret. And you should see that he places it. Fucking sick. And I don't even have to be here. I can just be on the other side of the fucking map. So I'll actually tell him to go and remove that. Not necessarily him. It's like any bot, but he's closest now, so he'll go fulfill that task. So he goes over, he's like, boom, delete. And it's not a true delete, it's like soft delete. Like, okay, I'm gonna go remove this thing from the world space, but hey, I figured you might need this for a later boss. So what he's actually gonna do is, talked about storage previously, those yellow chests. I got an array of yellow chests over here. They're kind of blocked by the icons of the items that are inside of them. He'll just pick one, I think at random, essentially, and then he'll just plop it right in. And then, like, let's say I don't have any turrets in that chest, where I'm actually making them. So like, yeah, again, I get confused. Over here, let's say there's no turrets in this passive provider, but I need one for something. You'll pull it from these storage chests. Pretty sick. So, as a backup. But yeah, let's go back to the WANs, because that's more critical, and again, that's more in line with what I'm currently working on, which is I want to make sure that these other WANs, you know, like WAN 2, WAN 3, 4, iron, whatever, I want to make sure that they have like max satisfaction, or at least like maximal satisfaction, like without me putting in too much work. So what I started designing the other day was a new train system that was delivering like more key items. So I've got something like this, which again is probably super quick, super dirty, could definitely be improved. In fact, I had an idea about this the other day, and I need to go back and re-implement it. But what I'm doing right now is I've got this train, it's getting loaded, I've got a system up there that maybe I'll get to at some point, but essentially I've got all of these passive provider chests with some inserters, and they're pulling stuff off the train. Right now I have dedicated buckets and dedicated inserters, so you can see like these inserters are only filtering to grab repair packs, so these inserters will only put repair packs in these chests. But yeah, I've got bots which actually get fed directly into the logistics network, so that way they can be used immediately. So these are engineering bots, the ones that go out and construct items for me, because things break. So they'll actually go out, they'll use repair packs to fix things, or they'll place items when I'm on the other side of the map and request them, as long as those items are in network. Repair packs go in these two. Regular turrets go in here. I'm filtering out everything else just in case, but these will be like, if I need something just randomly delivered, I can place it in the first train car and it'll go in here, so it can be a network. So these are like random items. These are walls, and then these are laser turrets. Yeah, so that's a quick synopsis. But yeah, I essentially started doing something like this on 2 and 3, so I could resupply them with most needed items, because those are the things that tend to break or that I'm using a lot of. Like you can see, I need a lot of laser turrets. I have a bit of a shortage at the moment. Part of it is due to my iron throughput, which I'm going to try to work on a little bit. I turned off the ammo because I don't really need the ammo line. It's pulling too much. So I actually have a switch for that. It's just like, oh yeah, like constant combinator. This is a little backwards, but I say turn it on to turn it off. So this is a deny signal. Long story short, it just shuts off these inserters and says like, hey, stop making your thing. Enable disable on deny signal. So if deny signal is less than 1, you're not denied. You can put stuff on the belt, but since deny has at the bottom right 1, because there's 1 deny signal coming through. Okay, that's not less than 1, so disabled. Yeah, there's a lot of that shit. We might come back to that at some point. That kind of gets into programming and whatnot. But yeah, so I want to make sure these guys are safe. For now, they are, for the most part. I need more laser turrets, but I don't have a lot of laser turrets to spare. Like, I have none on my person now. So much I can do. Oh yeah, I should probably grab my tank. Or bugs, any funny ideas. That was super risky. I just kind of like let it sit there through my whole monologue. Feels smart. Yeah, I like to save often just in case. I know they auto save, but You never know. It's good to have backups. There's some of my trains. Okay, so yeah. Now that I've kind of given you guys a quick synopsis of where we're at, what the current problems are, like I'm supplying my WANs. That's probably my biggest issue. There's still one more WAN that I need to supply, so that's probably going to be what I work on next, is that like supply station. Might even think it over a little bit out loud while I'm doing it, because honestly, I don't love this, and I'll get to the reason why in a minute. But yeah, there's a couple things. I want to finish WAN 3, which is this guy, so it can supply, this whole corridor here, red, which is its own thing. But I don't love that it's on this side. Okay, and the reason is because, so just like roads, there's like, right-hand side, left-hand side. So right-hand side drive is going north. So that's northbound. This is northbound. This guy, left-hand side, is southbound. So trains are always coming down this way on this line. So why is this important? Well, you can see that I spec things out in blue to be in the right-hand lane, which means that the train has to be going north, which is kind of annoying. And the reason it's annoying is because the train has to make essentially almost like a full rotation. Oh yeah, full rotation around my track. So like if it's coming from my main base, it's going south. So this guy, which is the resupplier, he's going south. He has to follow this whole line south. And I'd be thinking, oh, great, now he can go in here. Wrong, because he's on the left-hand rail, so he has to keep going around this whole fucking loop, get to iron, wait for an iron train to go through, and then he can go through. Loop all the way back. Come back, and then, oh, now I can dock. See, that's super inefficient. Maybe not super efficient, but it's pretty inefficient. So I think more ideally, I'd like to have this on the other side so that, it can just dock here. Or then, it still has to go this way to resupply, but I don't care about it at that point because it's done its job. So it can take time to get back to base. I'm not worried about it. It's not a super high demand train route, Like, what I'd be more concerned with is making sure that iron is delivered on time. I don't want to disrupt that. So, but what I am worried about is actually getting supplies from point A to point B. And since this is one of the last stops, I want to make sure that, this gets unloaded fairly quickly. Otherwise, it's going to be a pain in the ass. Because I'm going to have to expand this going southward anyways for that other iron ore deposit that I mentioned previously, that going 4 patch. So, a couple things. Probably going to redesign this real quick. Probably going to work on shoring up this iron corridor. It's like, gold 1, WAN 3, gold 2, iron corridor, gold 2's iron corridor, gold 3. It's going to be a bit more of a pain in the ass, but I essentially need to create a new route that connects this train line to this iron ore deposit, and that is going to be a pretty big lift. I might even hold off on that because I think there's some temp solutions we can still go with, but I'll get back to that in a minute. I think the big thing is I just want to finish my lands, get that thing done, get my task done, and move on, because I have other shit to do. Alright, let's do that. Okay, so we're going to take a trip over to WAN 3, or we're hoping to WAN 3. You can see there's a ton of bots. I'm already getting greens. This is supposed to be more late game. Those guys are really hard to kill. Got thick armor chills into the ass. Oh yeah, let me turn these guys off because they're so helpful, especially when I don't want them to be. So just turn the road board off, and then they won't build things. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little annoying. There's some trees here because I can't see. Okay. Alright, so let's think about this. I actually just got a bit of an idea, but yeah, it might require me going back to the base, unfortunately. Let's see. Okay, I do have a little bit of landfill. So landfill are basically just like giant dirt blocks. Not like a, garbage landfill. It's different. I think it's the same kind of principle, like they're building over trash or whatever, but you get the point. So like I'm just putting some dirt down so I can cut off some of the lake, and that allows me to build over here. So what I want to do, again, is have it on this left-hand side. So that's what we're gonna do, or attempt to do. I'm probably gonna... Oh, okay, that kind of works. Actually works better than I thought it would. And you need to support like 3 train cars worth, which I think that's close. And also do a quick, like, pseudo measurement. Okay, here's a cargo wagon. Oh, duh. This always trips me up. I'm so sorry. So, ideally, I do want the load and unload areas to be, like, directly, like, horizontal, like, east-west and north-south. Because otherwise, these inserters don't map right. And this is just like an odd quirk of this being like a 2D game or whatever. Like, if you have weird diagonals like this, the inserters have to be at a weird diagonal, so you like don't... It like doesn't map right, and you get like weird issues. Okay, so this actually is not... It would be my desired spot, but I can't do it. So, what shall I do? Okay, this spot is looking pretty nice. The only thing that sucks is the bugs like right here. So I'm gonna have to be super fucking careful when I'm building this thing. Like, I'm probably gonna have to set up some turrets because I'd be concerned about this thing getting attacked. That being said, I don't really have to supply it just yet. But yeah, watch this. Oh, not good. Shotgun. Auto shotty. Really good at clearing debris, like rocks and trees. Okay, so gonna save here. Okay, so the next thing is let's get our rail lines. And gonna do what I was intending on doing before. Yeah. It's a little painful. Sometimes the rail snap is not work the way you intend it to. So let's see. I'm a little concerned about how close I have to bugs. See, yeah, don't like that. I mean, let me. Again, we need to work like 3 trail lines for now. Could build this out just to see how it plays. Okay, so let's take that caboose. Yeah, so something like boom, yeah, that works. And then another one. Boom. Yeah, so that could work. I think. Take this guy again, just go get a quick measurement. Yeah, like that. That should be just enough, I think. I'll have to move that rock, but that's a pretty easy task. Oh, okay. There we go. Beautiful. So I'll kill that. Kill that rock. Die rock. Okay. This is still close. You can see there's a straggler right there, so I'm definitely gonna want some turrets. But I might be able to figure that out more later. I just want to set this thing up, and then I can kind of figure out more of the logistics side of things later. Yeah. Okay, let's send out the bots. And usually they don't really go, like the bugs don't really go for rail lines, because you have already made them aggressive. Then they'll just start breaking, like, whatever. There's weird intricacies about how the AI works. Kind of start to see patterns as you play. Down just one more time. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's like, so that should be perfect. Again, I think my current design is only like 3 train cars long. Yeah, so there's the primary train, the 2 cabooses for storage. So that should work nicely. So make this get a name. So this is gonna be land 3 refill, something like that. Okay, and so now if you hover over the stop, you can see like the train length. So the first train's gonna take those yellow arrows, and then we've got room for 2 more arrows in the back. So here's a great example of copy pasta. So what we can do is we can go up here and I can look at my current design, right? And there's other ways to do this. Like I could save it, but I'm a little lazy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take all this shit, I'm gonna copy it, look at a map, line it up with my caboose area. Oh, there's my copy design. Okay, it's gonna need power. We'll deal with that. Quick and dirty is throw a substation down, but from the substation needs power, so then we're gonna throw down something that has a little bit more range. So throw down a big electric pole, because those have the longest wire range, but then the substations have the largest blue area. Like, see, they have this the large electric pole, like it has the longest wires, so the wires go farther, but it has the smallest area, but the substations have the largest area of effect, if that makes sense. So it's like area where power supplies, which is blue, and then area where power is delivered, or the edge along which power is delivered, is through those lines that you can trace. Power lines. Boom. This is the line. This is the line. Okay, yeah, so now this should have power. You can see they don't have the blood symbols. That means they're getting powered. You can also hover over on bottom right. There's like consumed electricity. You can see that green bar is full. Okay, so this is like, again, repeating the design. I need a decider combinator. So I'm gonna build one of those real quick as soon as I find it. There it is, decider combinator. And then my bot will throw that down. What this guy does is just adds a little bit of logic. So right now what I'm saying is like, okay, I'll put a, hey, this is good to go, check mark signal of value 1. Because all signals need to have some sort of value. So, yeah. One here. Oh yeah, just, they're testing my wall. No big deal. See, bots go in, they fix it. And then they're like, oh yeah, they broke a couple of my transport belts. So you can see that it's in yellow, which means that they're going to get delivered at some point. It's just pending. Yeah, here they come. Cool. So the bugs, break them, bots fix them. It's great. I don't even have to be there. It's the other side of the map. But yeah, so what this decider combinator is doing is it's looking at all the chests as like an input and saying like, okay, compare, and like they'll be labeled as a signal. So like the sum total of these two will come in as the signal repair pack, and it'll say like, okay, the number of items is the number of the signals coming in for that repair pack. So essentially this is coming out to how many repair packs are in the chest. Is it greater than or equal to 10? If so, check. Turrets greater than or equal to 10, check. Walls greater than or equal to 20 in the box, check. Laser turrets, same thing. Substations, same thing. If all of these are good, so that's what the and is. This and this and this and this and this. If all of that is true, this and this and this, all this, all that's true, then output a green signal 1. So that's going to come out here. And we actually want to feed that green checkmark of 1 to the WAN 3 train stop. But I can't do that because it's a little far away. So what I'll do instead is I'll put a big pole down, connect this red output wire to the big pole, which traps to the other big pole because it can go the same distance as regular wires. And then for the big pole, it goes to the train stop. So now the train stop, get that signal. I have it set to send to train, so it's going to send that output signal all the way into the train. You're like, okay, you're feeding the signal into the train. Then what? Well, if we go look at that train, it has a bunch of train schedules. You can see for WAN 2 and WAN 3 refill, got it greater than or equal to 1. And the reason it's greater than or equal to 1 and not equal to 1 is like we could accidentally go over 1 if we have more items in chests. So like, I think the way it works is like I encountered this before, is like if you overfill on multiple items, what could happen is you get like 2 check marks. So, you know, if it jumps from 1 to 2 really quickly, just because it's unloading everything really fast, then, yeah, all right, still move on. Like, it won't stop the train. I guess this is actually WAN 4. I'm gonna make a mistake. Yeah, I fucked up my own naming convention. It's a little confusing. But yeah, this is WAN 3. So this is actually gotta be, yeah, that's why it's got a box 2, because there's another stop with that name. So this is gonna be WAN 4 refill. Exit 1, or actually doesn't have any. So WAN 4 refill. And now what I'm gonna do, connect this up, is I'm gonna tell my train, okay, add a new schedule, WAN 4 refill. So it's gonna hit the schedule in this order. So it's currently refilling at main satellite refill, which is essentially WAN 1. Probably rename it, but I won't do that now. Then it goes to WAN 2, WAN 3, WAN 4, like in series, which is good. So this is like going down the line from northwest to southeast. So eventually you go to like iron next and so on. So it's, you know, giving them off or unloading in closest proximity order to the main base. Yeah, so, oh yeah, and then, I don't know if I did this already, I probably did, but on that train schedule, oh, I didn't. You have to add a wait condition, so it's going to wait until this condition is met. So I'm going to say, wait until circuit condition, check mark, greater than or equal to 1. There might be a way to copy paste this. I haven't figured it out yet. Maybe it will at some point. Not really sure, but now it's good to go. Okay, so the train will stop there automatically if I send it out, which right now I'm just sending it out manually because I don't really have a reason to do it automatic just yet. Just like, hey, like, as I see a problem, tell my train to go fix it. Eventually I'll make it automated, but, well, more automated, but not yet. Okay, so, semantics. This is good to go, mostly. Again, I will need turrets. I should probably spec something out just so I don't forget. I've been primarily going with laser turrets because, first of all, I have connected up everything to my main base, so it has access, like, everything except the iron, because the iron corridor is a little dense right now with bugs, which is the next thing. What's it called? Blanking. All of the other WANs are connected up with electric poles that go all the way to my main base. If you follow this all the way up, you'll see that there's electric poles that come all the way up to my main line. And so that means they get access to my total 107 megawatts of generated power, or potentially generatable power, I should say. So right now we only need like 40 or something, 42. So yeah, if I come back down to WAN 4, you can see it has that same production and satisfaction value because this is all hooked up, which means that all of the satisfaction is generated from everything up into including WAN 4. But same thing with the production. So WAN 4 gets all 107 as needed. So we got a pretty big ceiling to work with. But we don't have a whole lot of this turrets and resources, so we're going to work on that. But for now, let's go back up to one of my work in progress bases, or designs, I should say. Grab this guy. And yeah, I just need a little bit more protection around my turrets. Do something like this, I guess. And that might even be a little too close. I'm not trying to play God here. I'm just trying to figure out a good solution. Man, they gotta move this guy. Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just kind of like moving shit into place as it's needed. Yeah, that should offer a little bit of protection. Oh, I totally forgot. Rail signals. Duh. The experienced people are like, what are you doing, bro? You're like getting way ahead of yourself. I'm like, I see you. Just took me a minute because I'm not used to this. So, brief intro to rail signals. So you're getting a little bit of everything. So there's two types of rail signals, and I'll get into what they do in a minute. So there's the regular old rail signals, and then there's the rail chain signals. So rail chain signals, there's a couple like rules of thumb that you can follow to make things easier. So rail, I'll put them down here so we can see on my hotbar. So rail signals are basically just your typical yes go. If there's something ahead of me, I can't go. Something ahead of me, meaning a train, it won't look for anything else. It just looks for trains on the track. So if there's a train ahead of me on this track, I can't go forward. And you can see it's now delineated by a yellow line and a previous blue line. So the train comes down. If there's a train in the yellow, the train's coming down to blue. The train on the blue will see, oh, this is red, just like a traffic light. This is a traffic light. So it'll physically turn red, indicating there's a train there. And then when that train leaves the yellow and moves on, it'll turn to green, and then it'll turn, I think, yellow briefly while the train's moving through. And then once docked, if another train comes down, it'll be red. Well, actually, not even if another train comes down, it'll just be red while there's a train in the next area. So while there is a train in the yellow, signal is red. But then there's rail trains, or there's rail chain signals, and those are a little bit more complicated. I probably couldn't even give the best synopsis, so I'll go to the description. Reads the next signal in the path to allow better control of trains. So I think what this is saying is it actually looks two signals ahead, essentially. But to make things less confusing, here's what I know. The rail chain signal is used for intersections only. And only when you're coming in to an intersection. So that's the rule of thumb. So this is a great example, right? Because as we know, this left rail is going north-south, meaning it's coming southwards. So we know a train that's coming this way is going to have an intersection here between these two rail lines, so it needs to make a decision. So what we can do is place a rail chain signal, and you can see that the first thing it does is it divides up sections, just like the regular old rail signal. So now we have a blue incoming and a yellow outcoming. Great. And the yellow outcoming is both of these. But now we want to separate this, because once a train leaves this intersection, we're clear. We want to have trains come in. So what do? We end it with a rail signal. And now you can see it's turned to new purple, but you can see the purple only takes up that Y intersection, which is what we want. So as long as there's a train in here, do not pass. But also, I guess, in line with the rail chain signal, look at the second, the blue, and make sure that there's no train there. As long as those two things are met, good. Something like that. But essentially, what I know to remember is, like, use rail chain signals if you're coming into an intersection, and use rail signals, regular rail signals, when you're coming out of an intersection. And also use rail signals whenever you want to just divide up lanes, because, like, to see that there's problems that arise if you don't put enough regular rail signals down. Just to signal, like, hey, there's something ahead of me. You'll get, like, deadlocks and whatnot. Okay. But yeah, so I'm gonna put another rail signal there. And I probably should put a rail signal there, even if this is super short. Like, it could definitely take up these 2 lanes, and that's fine. I just don't want there to be collision, but it's fine. I'll deal with that for now. Yeah, it's not perfect. I'm definitely not a god at this game or anything. I'm just, like, figuring shit out, just like anybody. Okay, and then again, this is an intersection, so rail signal out and chain signal in. So chain signal, put it there and like there. Okay, so now, yeah, rail chain signal in, rail signal out. So trains coming into the intersection, rail chain signal, regular rail signal out of the intersection. Boom, we're happy. And you can see there's little pieces like this. This might not even be needed, honestly. Probably fine. Yeah, it just extends the blue. Like, okay, whatever, we're good. Okay, so now this guy's hooked up, and I already had the other rails hooked up, so that should be fine too. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that this intersection was called out, and that we're now taking care of it, because trains could collide. It really comes into play in something like this, where you have 2 trains that are sharing the same line, and you want to merge them. Well, one train has to come first, and it's first come, first served basis, so one train goes in, another train waits until it's done, and then the next train follows. And they should theoretically go the same speed unless they're using a different power support, like power supply source, I guess you could say. So like coal versus like jet fuel for the train, but that's another story, which, by the way, might come up soon, because I did start doing it with one of my trains, but not another. It's possible I might have inadvertently created a future collision if I didn't set up my rail train signals correctly, because what could happen is, like, one train could essentially rear end another because it's going faster than the train ahead of it. I don't know. We're gonna find that out the way. It's not that big of a deal. We'll clean up the mess if it gets to that point. Okay. I think we're done here, though. You get the idea. I might even cut this short here. Take a little quick break. We've got WAN 4 set up. That was kind of my goal now. So on the next session, we're going to be working on this iron corridor, and we're going to maybe we're going to call some of these bugs, figure out how we can get some of our power supply or big power poles across here so we can deliver main power to this guy. It is self-sufficient, which is great, but I might want to add more devices and whatnot. And so it's going to be a little bit easier if I can get everything over there too. Kind of like a backup. Okay. Well, that was just fun. Hope you guys had fun. And I'll see you in the next one. Later.